All right, now I'm going to go ahead and act like I'm very together. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our sixth and final Success Circle gathering. Did you know that this is our last one? You probably did. I'm in denial. I'm trying to pretend that it's not. But anyway, it is our sixth and last. But I will be starting again, just by the way, on April, I think it's the 8th. And that will be here before you know it. And you know, I have the Awake method starting in 9 days, and I'm already working on it and adding some really amazing new exercises for more interaction. So, not exercises like calisthenics, but exercises for more awakeness. And since I know the next Success Circle is a couple months away, that would be the best way to stay in the conversation, although I know a lot of you are on 2.0. And by the way, some of you have already enrolled and paid for the next Success Circle starting in April. You might not remember, but it's called like Awake Gold. We changed it and gave it a fancy name. And when you registered for Awake for the first time, several of you bought like this big discount package, and it included Awake 2.0 and Awake Gold, and which is the Awake version of Yes to Success. So if you're not sure if you paid for it, just write to support at DeborahPoneman.com, and Elise will look that up for you. And tonight, oh, somebody wants being transcribed. I'm clicking O. And tonight, oh, I thought somebody's saying my camera is not working. That is Janie saying her camera isn't working. And Jane had it in her calendar. Beautiful necklace. Thank you, my friend Minda Burr made this. You could go on Instagram, Minda Burr Jewelry, Burr. Always got to promote my friends. And there's Marcy. Marcy, I'm going to see you in like what, 2 months? So excited. I'm going to Seattle and to see my daughter, and then Marcy and I are going to rendezvous. So that is going to be lots of fun. If
Getting our
anyone
hair
else
done.
lives in the Seattle area,
Mom's coming.
you are absolutely welcome to join our rendezvous. Make sure you guys are muted. I'm muting everybody now, but for some reason I'm having a hard time muting. I don't know why that's happening. So please make sure that you are muted. Janie needs to mute. Martina needs to mute. And I think that's it. All right. So we are going to do all of our favorite things tonight. Well, actually, kind of all of our favorite things. I was going to begin with the chakra enlivenment meditation because everyone loves that. But in the interest of time, instead, I'm going to send you an audio file and a video file with the chakra meditation so that you have it in your own library forever and ever. Okay, because a lot of people ask for that. And now you won't ask for it because you're going to have it. And we have so much else to do besides new knowledge. We're going to have breakout groups. Yay! We got some films, we got some music. We have no intentioning because nobody sent in an intention. We could, and if you did send in an intention and I didn't see it, oh, actually, I just realized two of you did. I remember this now, but you sent it in a couple weeks ago. I will find that while you're in mastermind groups. Okay. Maybe Georgie. Are you waving to me, Georgie? Because you send one in? Okay. Yeah. Now that I was wondering why I didn't get any. And now I remember because you guys were so, as my mother would say, Johnny on the spot, that I didn't get any in the last day or two. So I thought, oh, no
I
intention.
sent one today.
Somebody sent one today. Okay, if you
I sent one today.
No.
Sent one today too.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I sent
goodness,
one
you know
today,
what
too.
is happening?
It's a,
Could you do me a favor and resend them all to a different email address? Resend them all to DeborahPoneman@gmail. DeborahPoneman@gmail.com, because what's happening is that we are rolling everything from Keep into Kartra, And what's happening is that the old Yes to Success address doesn't exist anymore. So it rolls into something else. And for some reason, they are getting lost in the ethers. Okay. So resend them. And while you're in breakout groups, I'll get that all organized. Okay. So anyway, we have lots to do. We have some announcements. We have some surprises at the end. And I'm thinking that for those of you who want to stay, we'll do a Master John Douglas healing because we only did one the first week. And so I think we should do, yay, I think we should do one the last week. I think we need a good dose of soul repair is what I'm thinking. And I'm going to share some of the ideas and concepts and actions that I feel are the most important. People are unmuted again for some reason. This is an interesting day in terms of muting and unmuting. Amber needs to mute, Caroline needs to mute. Thank you, thank you. And keep an eye on making sure that you are muted, okay? So what I'm going to share with you are the most important that I think, the most important things that we have covered in the last 6 weeks to keep top of mind as we end this success circle and move ahead in our lives. So, but let's just start with a prayer, okay? Always love to start with a prayer. So absolutely make sure that you are muted and let's close our eyes. Let's just do a few straw breaths. Just in through the nose and out through those pursed lips like you're blowing through a straw. Again, in through your nose and out through those pursed lips. Again, in through your nose. And one more time, out through those pursed lips. And now, with our eyes closed, let's feel the vibration of light around us. And let's feel the connection of our hearts, one to the other. Every person is here because you have been called. You said yes to success. You said yes to 2.0. You said yes to Success Circle. Many of you said yes to Success Circle again and again. And some of you had the courage to ask for a scholarship instead of just drifting away. Some of you even paid for one another. This is community. This is family, and this is what life is all about. So still keeping your eyes closed, breathe in the angelic presence that is already here. Angels, both human and divine. And now, as we put our attention on our heart centers, we formally and humbly invite into our circle all of the angels and the archangels, all of the master angels and the unemployed angels, all of our spirit guides and helpers, all of the masters of all of the holy traditions, all of the ancestors. We feel your presence. We feel your love enveloping us and saying, be at peace, all is well. The fear, the sadness, this too shall pass. I am with you. Trust. This is what you came here for. I never promised that life would be easy, but I always promised that I will be with you at every moment. Call upon us. You sometimes forget that we're always here to help, waiting to be called upon. But it's up to us to decide what the help will look like. It's up to you to simply live in love, to be love, and to live in gratitude for every moment, to not block the grace that wants to pour down on you. And again, remember, you volunteered. You chose to be here at this time. Yes, you had a choice. And knowing that, let's be in gratitude and let's use the power of our love united with the angels to pour peace and healing love on anyone who is in a moment of difficulty, anyone who is suffering. Let's pour our healing collective love and light onto those who are in pain, who are confused, who are feeling helpless, onto those who are isolated and lonely, to those who are in the midst of war, famine, illness, fear for the future. Let's join with the angelic realm to bless and surround the entire globe with glorious, radiant, white and gold healing light. And as we turn our faces to the light, we give thanks once again to our angelic guides and helpers. And may more good come from our time together tonight than we can even imagine. And through us, may we create endless blessings for all of humankind, all creatures great and small on earth and beyond. Thank you to the God of our understanding for our lives and for giving us this place to come together each month where beings of light wait anxiously for us to gather. And we are continually reminded that we are not alone, that there is no substitute for community and there is no calamity too great that cannot be overcome with the grace of God, the help of the divine, and each other. And so it is. And we say, Amen. So now we can slowly open our eyes. And I want to begin by sharing a statement on the importance of community from physician and author Ira Byock. And it goes like this. Years ago, anthropologist Margaret Mead was asked by a student what she considered to be the first sign of civilization. The student expected Mead to talk about fishhooks or clay pots or grinding stones, but no. Mead said that the first sign of civilization in any ancient culture was a femur, a thigh bone that had been broken and then healed. Mead explained that in the animal kingdom, if you break your leg, you die. You cannot run from danger, get to the river for a drink, or hunt for food. You are simply meat for prowling beasts. No animal survives a broken leg long enough for the bone to heal. A broken femur that has healed is evidence that someone has taken the time to stay with the one who fell, has bound up the wound, has carried the person to safety, and has tended the person through recovery. Helping someone else through difficulty is where civilization begins. We are at our best when we serve others.
Yeah.
So from month to month, we don't know what will be going on in the world, but what we do know is that we are not helpless bystanders. We do know that every action we take either adds more light or more darkness to the world. I've shared the story ad nauseum of Rabbi Ashlag, who demonstrated by the scales of justice with equal amounts of sesame seeds, one side representing acts of good, love, kindness. And the more we do those acts, we fill up that side of the scale until eventually, if it prevails, we will have heaven on earth. And the other side is filled with acts of greed and callousness and lies, and that will lead to the demise of our planet into darkness. And every act we do puts a sesame seed on one side of the scale or the other. So I want to share tonight, the first thing I want to do is I want to share tonight what I feel are some of the most important ways that we could effortlessly put sesame seeds on the side of the scale so that we contribute to bringing heaven on earth, not only to our own lives, but to the planet. A lot of what I'm going to say, you've heard already. But if you've been in Success Circle before, I invite you to listen with a beginner's mind like it is 100% new and you have never heard any of this before. You've heard a lot of this, but I want you to hear it as new. Also, personally, I believe that you were called to this community because you are ready to be disciplined, not like be disciplined like you're a bad girl, but to exhibit discipline in your life. Yes, I am always kind of a tread lightly kind of a teacher. I say become awake inside and everything will flow. But we are living in times where we have to be very aware of when we're being lazy, tough love today, and not being disciplined. And we watch ourselves doing things that are not going to serve us, and we have to amp up our discipline. How many of you know what I'm talking about? That sometimes you know what you should be doing or not doing, but you're just a little bit lazy. Anybody? Who's going to confess? Not even one of you? Well, I guess it's only me. Me and Chris. There we go. Barbara and Susan and Jane and Dorji and Karen and Yoshimi. And yeah, now we're rocking and rolling. I mean, it's almost like you're witnessing yourself. You know you should be doing one thing and you just like do something else. Am I right? Okay, so I think it's time that we amp up our discipline. You might even want to make that your screensaver. It's time to amp up your discipline. Are you going to be perfect? No, because you're human. But the more you do the hard stuff, the fewer, how do I say, the fewer holes there'll be in your happiness, the fewer holes there'll be in your well being. It's kind of like people who learn to meditate. You learn to meditate, and you know that people who meditate regularly are happier, healthier, more centered, and yet you sleep in instead of doing your 20 minutes of meditation. Am I right? Or you talk on the phone to someone for 20 minutes who you don't even care about, and there's your meditation time, and now you got to go out for the evening. We kind of witness ourselves doing that. We are at a precarious time, as you might have noticed. And by giving this stuff your all, you will have the best shot at being one who rises above the chaos, like a lotus on top of a muddy pond. I know that's a brilliant analogy, but it's not my own. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, my first spiritual teacher, said that we do our practices so that when there's chaos, we rise above the chaos like a lotus, beautiful lotus on top of a muddy pond. It's a beautiful analogy. How many of you would like to rise like a lotus on top of a muddy pond? Yeah, me too. All right. So wait, hold on. I want to put you back on gallery view. You disappeared from gallery view, and I love to look at all of you. It's my favorite thing to do. So I'm going to share with you. I look through everything that I teach in Yes to Success, that I teach in 2.0, and I came up with the four things that I think are the where we have the best shot. I've done this before. I think I might even do it in 2.0, but I'm expanding on it as always. So here we go. Number one, and you could take notes. Number one is one of my favorites, and that is radical honesty. And again, I'm not talking like Jim Carrey in the movie Liar Liar, where he walks in the elevator and says, "That is the ugliest hat I've ever seen," or "You are so fat." No, not that kind of radical honesty. That's not what I'm talking about. But not even white lies. Remember, we're amping up our discipline. No more making excuses. No more saying yes when you mean no. I feel like I want to beg you. I'm begging myself too. Watch when things come out of your mouth that aren't true. First of all, when you say things that are not true, 90% of the time, the person you're speaking to knows it's not true. How many of you know when somebody's like, and you nod, but you know it's not true, right? But it creates a dark energy around you, around the person speaking the untruth. And it even means telling the truth to someone about how you feel or what you see. I'm going to quote from Neale Donald Walsch, one of my favorite quotes about radical honesty. "On this day of your life, my friend, I believe God wants you to know that truth spoken is a gift given. Truth withheld is more than a gift denied. It's an arrow aimed at the heart." You get that? It's like when you know a truth that you could share with someone, even though you have to, Maurice used to always say, speak the truth, but speak the sweet truth. In other words, say it in a way that is sweet and kind. Neale Donald Walsch goes on to say, "It's been said that the truth hurts, but the exact opposite is true. No truth is hurtful and no lie is harmless, because every truth opens your heart to another to another person, and every lie separates you. Every lie separates you." Isn't that like profound? I've read that before. How many of you are hearing it for the first time as if, or like you've never heard it before? Me too. And then he says, "Yet know this, the way you say your truth can be hurtful. So speak your truth, but soothe your words with peace." And one more. He says, "On this day of your life, my friend, I believe that God wants you to know that nothing good is ever created by deception. Not even the smallest untruth, not even the most well-intentioned white lie will produce benefit. So tell your truth as soon as you know it. Yes, yes, I know, but then. So you'll have to decide which of the but thens you want. There will always be a but then. Yet shall it be one you endure or one you create? If it's control you want, telling the truth puts you in total control." So again, but when you speak the truth to someone about what you feel, it's good to do it in a nonviolent way. I know I've shared with you before about nonviolent communication. State what you observe. When you walk in the door, you tend to put your backpack down in the hallway. How does it make you feel? It makes me sad because I like to have a orderly home. What you need, I need you to be aware, and instead bring the backpack into your room. And the folks, you're going to love this, at Nonviolent Communication now have made it very easy for you. They have created a nonviolent communication translator. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and this will kind of blow your mind. I have it here. Hold on. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. You're going to love this, and it's just called NVC Translator, but don't look it up right now. Just do it with me. Okay, can you see? Nonviolent Communication Translator. Is this crazy? So watch this. You click on Translate Now. I said, I put in this example. You said that you would clean up after the party and you haven't lifted a finger, and I'm really upset about it. They think that that's violent. You click on translate and you get, I noticed that the cleanup after the party hasn't started yet, and I'm feeling upset because I was expecting a shared effort in restoring order. Would you be willing to start the cleanup now or discuss a plan for it? Is that fabulous? So the observation is the cleanup after the party hasn't started yet. The feeling is I feel upset. The need is let's have a share effort to restore order. And the request is would you be willing to start the cleanup now or discuss a plan for it? So you love that? It's crazy. I was doing this all day. I mean, when I got this from my friend Joseph, shared it with me, and I was putting in all the things that I say to people and how you could say it in a nonviolent way. So when you are upset, I wish I could see the chat, because if I could see the chat, I would have actually somebody raise their hand and unmute yourself, one person, and give me something else to put in here. Can anybody think of something you might have said to your kids or your partner, your spouse, anybody? Just unmute yourself and say it out loud, and we'll just put it in here. Oh, do I have to? I see Marcy raising her hand. Okay, ask to unmute. I have to ask to unmute.
Okay.
Okay, give me one, Mars.
Okay. Stop being so negative.
Okay, hold on. What else? But stop being
Being so negative.
negative. Anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah. I only want to be around positive people.
Okay. Oh, this is good. To be around positive people. I'll let my mind run wild who you say that to. Okay, here we go. Translate. It's not as fast as ChatGPT. Here we
Well,
go.
which may be good. Yeah.
Okay. When I hear words that seem negative to me, I feel uncomfortable because I need support and optimism around me. Would you be willing to share more about what's going on for you in a way that focuses on solutions or positive aspects?
Oh, yes. Yes.
So again, the feeling, observation, when I hear words that seem negative to me, my feeling is uncomfortable. My need is support and optimism. My request is, would you be willing to share more about what's going on for you in a way that focuses on solutions or positive aspects? Yay?
Yay.
All right, good. So I'm going to stop share, and now you have a new tool. Good? It's like this is actually a very quick, funny story. I hope I remember how it happened. But when my daughter, she was in her late teens and she drank a lot. And every time she would come home from a party and I could smell alcohol, I go, you're going to get in a car accident one of these days. I hope you were with a designated driver. And I would and always, every time you walk in the door, you smell like alcohol. Okay, I know you can't imagine me being like that. But it's just that's what I would say. And then one day I was talking to my friend who was in, I think it's AA, and she said, it's not your problem. She's a grown adult. Maybe she wasn't in her late teens. I think she was in her early 20s. And she said, and what you have to do is when she comes home, you have to just say, or the next morning, I noticed that you came home last night and you smelled like alcohol, but I've come to the realization that it's your life and I love you and I'm here for you, but I'm not going to bother you about this anymore. So what does she say to me? Oh God, who told you to say that? I said, no, I just thought of it, which of course is like, no, I just thought of it. She goes, you didn't just think of it. So, you got to be radically honest. Anyway, so that was my darling daughter. Anyway, gotta love them. So here we go. Number 2. So number 1, radical honesty, and that nonviolent communication app I think is going to help you a lot with that. Am I right? Nonviolent communication when you want to be radically honest. Okay, number two, no judgments. When I used to teach my Live Yes to Success seminars, at the beginning of each weekend, I would have every person stand up and introduce themselves and say what they intended to get from the weekend. And before the people would stand up, I would say to the group, instead of judging the person, look for something good about them. And then I would quote from Jerry and Esther Hicks. Here is the quote, one of my favorites. You say some of these people in my life do not deserve my good thoughts. They are bad, they are evil, they are wrong, they are inappropriate, they hurt me, they hurt my friend. They do not deserve my good thoughts. And you stubbornly are not going to give them any good thoughts. Well, they may not deserve your good thoughts, but you do. You deserve your good thoughts about them. It's all about allowing your own well-being. So you deserve to have good thoughts about them. So then one day I was teaching my Live Yes to Success, and I decided I was going to try something different. I decided to not give everyone a heads up and ask them to look for the good and not judge, but just listen to the introductions. So I let everybody introduce themselves, and when it was over, I said to the group, now raise your hand if you didn't judge anybody as they introduced themselves. Nobody raised their hand. Raise your hand if you judged maybe just one or two people. Few people raised their hand, 3 or 4 people. And eventually I got to the most honest group and I said, raise your hand if you judged something about every person who stood up. And fortunately, there were some people who were honest. Right, Archie's ready, raising his hand. We're not even talking about anybody. You knew you would do that. So then I asked them to write down all the things they judged about the others. And then we asked, and then we shared what they judged. And they said things like, I judge Miss Happy and Bubbly over there because she, thinking she was probably miserable and masking her pain. Or I judge the guy with the big muscle and the way he strutted around as being the most insecure and unsure of himself person in the room. I judged the woman wearing the hijab that she was probably angry and suppressed. By the way, I remember that, and it turned out that she had cancer and was going through chemotherapy. But I want you to think about your day-to-day, and I want you to write down people that you judged. And I'll tell you who I judged today. I was walking down the street and I judged the sidewalks are really narrow. And I judged the people who didn't move over more so that 2 people could get past each other. And I judged one of the people. We had a board meeting today, and I judged one of the people for not being organized for when our board meetings start, and she was supposed to be in charge of it. I judged a friend for changing her mind about something we were going to do, and she, quote unquote, always changes her mind. So I want you to do this exercise. I want you to think about the people you interacted with today and what you might have judged about them. Okay? Go ahead. I'm going to get more water. Some people are writing them in the chat here. These are good. Ooh, yeah, the person who didn't wave to you and thanks when you let them in. How many of you that triggers you? You let them in car traffic, right, Tana? And they didn't even wave. Oh my God. Somebody in the grocery store who was wearing a bathrobe and bedroom slippers. Yes, Caroline, my daughter, doesn't miss a Sunday morning. She is religious about her sky breath. Oh, these are hysterical. Okay. Oh, man. Oh, God. Okay, I should read this before I go to bed tonight so I can have a laugh. Okay, so now you have your list of all the things that you judge, and the truth is we can only see in others what exists in ourselves. And if you think, well, I don't see myself here. I didn't wear a bathrobe and slippers. Yeah, but you know, um, somebody else would see it and think it was really cute. Or maybe somebody who didn't wave to somebody in traffic. When have you not been appreciative for a little something that somebody did? But you could go deeper. If you think, I don't see myself here, I make room on the sidewalk. It might not be the physical sidewalk. So what I would say is, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar says, whenever you point one finger at somebody, you're pointing three back at yourself. So when I became aware many decades ago, of the harm that judging others did to me, it was when I first realized that I was always spontaneously noticing the ways that people were not good enough, or where they fell short, or where they were lacking. And I realized I did that because it made me feel better about myself, especially with other speakers. I was like a master at criticizing people who were speakers. But I realized that I was looking for what wasn't good enough about them as my way of trying to feel like I was better than them. But just the opposite was happening because of the power of putting my attention on what was not good or enough about them. The more not enough I felt because I was putting my attention on not enoughness. Got it? Okay, how many of you judge other people like, they're not good at this, they're not good at that, and it makes you feel superior? Come on, anybody else, or is it just me? Yeah. So when I became aware of what I was doing, I became completely committed to having no fascination with what wasn't enough, and instead to look for what was wonderful and good enough about others. Not only did that create a new neural pathway, even though I was annoyed that the person, actually I shouldn't say I was annoyed, I was a little bit judgmental about them not moving over on the sidewalk, but I immediately realized I don't do that a lot either, especially when I'm carrying something and then people have to step into the street because the sidewalk is this narrow. But now what I do is when I remember, am I perfect? No. Whatever I do, immediately catch myself and look for the good. And also, since whatever we want in our lives, we give to each other, I began making it a point whenever possible and appropriate to compliment the wonderful things I saw in them and rejoice in their success and their wins. And, or when somebody does something good when they're speaking, even if their talk isn't that good, I always find something good about it and I tell them the good thing about it. And it's really been like a miracle, and has so aligned me with that high vibration of grace. I remember doing this on a board meeting when someone was really annoying me because she was not doing a good job running the meeting, and I think I'm really good at running meetings, and I'm like, "Rrr." So I remembered, and not only did I look for something good, I even did 3 good things. Remember the practice of 3 good things? I found 3 good things about her. And then when my heart opened by doing 3 good things, I put in the chat what a great job she did moderating between the 2 folks who had different opinions. And it wasn't gratuitous. She did do a great job at that. And she texted me back saying, in the chat, how great it felt to be acknowledged by me. And I texted her back, but you really did an amazing job. And she texted me back, I love you so much. I'm so happy you're on this board. And it completely changed the energy of the entire meeting going forward. Get it? It's a good one. Okay, if you see somebody doing something, look for the good and even give them a compliment. God doesn't judge. God sees the beauty and loves all of his children equally. He loves the drug dealer as much as the light worker. He loves the homeless man sleeping on a park bench as much as he loves the prime minister of the country. Those of you who are parents or guardians or godparents or aunties, if there's one child who gets straight A's and wins all the awards and another who seems to struggle, do you love the straight A person more than the struggler? No, of course you don't. Maybe you love the struggler a little more. Who knows? The Bible says that we are all made in the image and likeness of God. It doesn't say, and then God made some people in his own image. No. Do you really want to vibrate with grace? Try on one of my favorite quotes from Mahatma Gandhi. If you can't see God in the next person you meet, you need look no further. And then, of course, I love the quote from Amanda Gorman, who was the poet. I quoted from her, I think maybe even last Success Circle, who read the poem at Biden's inauguration. Lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. Okay, number 3. And again, these are the things that I feel are going to move the needle the most for you and for your contribution to the world, okay? So the first one is radical honesty, and the second one is non-judgment. And number 3 is, I don't know, maybe you can guess. Can anybody guess what is the next thing that might really move the needle that you've learned that you might not be doing? Any guesses? I'd love to see what you would guess are the things that you think. Gratitude's a good one. Good guess. Elaine, you and I are speaking at the same event in May. Everybody has to come. We'll tell you about it later. Forgiveness. These are good guesses. Spiritual practices. Thank you, God. Take positive actions. Ooh, these are all giving me goosebumps because they're all brilliant. And my favorite one is the good old 7-day mental diet. Don't forget to do it. Remember how many years did it take me? 38 years before I got through a week? Really? I think it was 38. Maybe it was even longer. Maybe it was 40 years. No negativity about anyone or anything. Recommit today to really make it through 7 days. And if you can make it through 7 days, it will completely change your life forever. It's very similar to no judgment, but the difference is that with the 7-day mental diet, no blaming, no shame. It's not just no judging, but it's no blaming, no shaming, no complaining. I can't believe this meeting isn't starting on time. Cancel. I'm sure there's just a snag. It'll get going in perfect timing. Or, I'm so tired of cooking for all of you and nobody helps me. Again, use nonviolent communication. Instead of complaining, just calmly ask for assistance or love what is. All right? So that is the 7-day mental diet. And if anybody is in the mood to commit, beginning this moment, to 7 days of the mental diet, I'm putting it in here too. That just put me... I'm committing 7 days. Okay. It's a big deal, when you commit. Amber's getting a kick out of me today. Amber, you look good, honey. I'm so glad to see you looking better. Very exciting. Okay. All right. Number 4. One of the ways to end your own suffering and contribute to a planet that works, my 4th favorite, is loving what is. Loving what is. You know the person who helped me to understand this concept of loving what is, Byron Katie. You remember her story. She was severely depressed, bedridden, out of control, alcoholic, abusive, suicidal. So they checked her into a facility where she was so combative that the staff had to put her in solitary confinement in the attic of the building, where she was raging alone when a cockroach walked across her foot and she slipped into the place suddenly where there is nothing but grace. So basically, she became awake. She woke up right then and there. And I mean, she spiritually woke up. She got the E in awake, which is enlightenment, in that attic, in solitary confinement. All of a sudden, she looked around and she saw the absolute perfection of all creation. She realized that everything was exactly as it should be. So, again, hear this for the first time. Her body of knowledge is based on the realization that when you believe, and this is a tough one right now, when you believe that something should be different than it is, you suffer. Think about that sentence. When you believe, take a breath, when you believe that something should be different than it is, you suffer. I mean, some everyday examples. She used to say when she thought something like, my husband should be nicer to me or my children should respect me, and the reality is he isn't and they don't, she suffered. And then when she didn't believe that her husband should be nicer or kids should respect her, she just loved what is. I told you the time I worked with her and I said, my son shouldn't get high. Boy, you think my kids, one's an alcoholic, one gets high, but that was decades ago, but still, my son shouldn't get high. And then she worked me through it. And by the end, she turned it around and showed me how I got high. I got high from overworking. I got high from achievement. And he got high from smoking marijuana. Because that's when you do the work of Byron Katie, you always have to turn around to yourself. And the turnaround is, I shouldn't get high. Anyway, but her awakening allowed her to see that what had been causing her deep depression was not the world around her, but her belief that the world around her should be different than it was. We have to internalize this. Again, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to what happens to you. Katie says that our attempts to find happiness is backwards. Instead of hopelessly trying to change and control the world and the people in it, to match your thoughts how they should be. Instead, we can question our thoughts and by loving reality exactly as it is, we experience freedom. I remember, I think I told you this before, the time Janet Atwood and I were driving from San Francisco to LA, and we called Katie because she lives in Ojai. We said, Katie, we're going to be going through Ojai. Can we come and see you? And she said, yes, girls, I would love to see you. Why don't you come around noon? So we had to go through all these histrionics to make sure that we were driving through Ojai at exactly noon. And then we told the people in LA we were going to be late. And so we're like, just call me when you're 15 minutes away. So we had already gotten off the main highway going into Ojai. We said, we're on our way, Katie. And she goes, girls, I've changed my mind. I love her so much, and it's not like, oh, I'm so sorry, Stephen isn't well, and I have a doctor's appointment now. She goes, girls, I changed my mind. We'll do it another time. Love you both. I love this woman. How many of you could do that? But we aspire to being as honest and in the present moment. And then Janet and I had to love what is, knowing that it's all perfect. All right. I remember one time she fired somebody, another friend of mine, and all she said was, honey, I think I'm going to have Chris take over your job beginning Monday. That was it. Not, because you didn't get the stuff to me on time, because I think I'm going to. Anyway, once you accept that we live in a benevolent universe and you realize and you see the utter perfection in creation, I'm telling you, you will then fall to your knees in gratitude. And you will know that there is a way to overcome every obstacle. You might not know what it is, but the intelligence who created the obstacle for you does know how to overcome it. So we just give thanks. And the miracle is that every obstacle can be overcome. Maybe not as soon as you think, but it will. The perfection and the knowledge will arrive exactly on time. I love the quote from Master John Douglas, who says, when you let go of the fight, the divine blessing simply enters you. Ooh, I'm going to say that again. When you let go of the fight, the divine blessing simply enters you. That is a good one. Again, are you going to be perfect at loving what is? Probably not right away, but you're also not going to beat yourself up because Katie urges us not to put pain on pain. So when you screw up, put your hand on your heart, breathe in. Just by putting your hand on your heart, it stimulates the oxytocin, which is the feel good hormone. And say, I love you, you're doing the best you can, and then start again. But don't trick the deal and go off loving what is 20 times a day and then forgive yourself. So these 4 things, radical honesty, not judging, 7-day mental diet, loving what is, you're not doing them just for yourself, but every action you take, every word you speak, every time you roll your eyes behind somebody's back, okay, how many of you have ever done that? You look at your girlfriend and you go, about someone else? Anybody, or is it just me? Okay, Elaine and Dan. Yeah, Michelle, Ellie and Joyce, both I got away from. Okay, I hate to say this is so sexist, but women do it more than men. Sorry, I didn't see any of the men raise their hand. I don't think they do it, but maybe we could learn from them. Okay, was that not politically correct? It's just an observation. But it's not only a boomerang that will come back to you that will make your life less glorious and more unhappy, but every time you roll your eyes, it affects all of creation. Remember, Messages from Water, Dr. Masaru Emoto, proved that our words, even words written on a piece of paper, and our thoughts affect water, and 70% of our bodies and 70% of Mother Earth is water. So every word you speak, every thought affects all of creation. In wanting light in the world, again, it's everything you do is not only for yourself, but for the world. I won't go on and on about that. But I remember another thing that happened. I don't know if I ever told you this story. Probably those of you who have taken a million courses from me. I remember one time I was in Fairfield, Iowa. We meditate together in these 2 huge golden domes. If you've never seen what they look like, just put in Maharishi University. It's not called Maharishi University Management anymore. Maharishi International University, Fairfield, Iowa, and you'll see these 2 big, gorgeous golden domes. One is for the men and one is for the women. And one time, I was in there, and when we rest after our meditation, I was just in total bliss. I was thinking, I'm the luckiest person in the world. I have this amazing spiritual master. I live in this incredible community. I have this wonderful husband, 2 swell kids. And if anybody knows where that is from, what is that a quote from? And 2 swell kids. And anybody? Ooh, let's see how good you are. But and I remember lying there, but there was still something wrong. And when I had the honor of being with, no, not I Love Lucy, but it was a good guess, 2 swell kids, and now this. Okay. Anyway, so then I had the honor of being with Maharishi maybe a few months later, and it's actually from Bye Bye Birdie. It's when they win the contest where they get to meet Bye Bye Birdie. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I talking to Maharishi, because I had the honor of going to India and being with him. And I said to him, I don't know what this was, because I was lying in this pool of bliss in the dome, thinking how great my life is, great husband, great community, but there's like this darkness, and it just like, it didn't feel good. I said, what is that? And he said, it's called Lesha Vidya. And he said, it's the remains of ignorance. And he said, bottom line is, you can never be completely happy, 100% happy, until if the rest of the world is suffering. So I thought that was a very good inspiration to come back and really teach meditation with all my heart and do everything I can, not only for the world, but also for myself. It's very interesting, right? It's just a teeny bit, Lesha Vidya, the remains of ignorance. Maybe for him, for people who are enlightened, don't feel that way, but I think for those of us who are human. And it also reminds me of that story. Remember that story about the anthropologist who invited the children from the African tribe to play that game? Anybody know that story? Oh, it's such a beautiful story. I don't remember. So this anthropologist invited the children from an African tribe to play a game, and he placed a basket of fruit near a tree, and he said to the children, "The one of you who reaches the tree first will be given all the huge basket of sweet fruit." And then he signaled the children to start the race, and as soon as they did, they locked their arms together. They locked their arms and ran together, and they all reached the basket at the same time and enjoyed the delicious fruit. And the anthropologist was astonished and asked the children why they ran together, because a winner could have enjoyed the fruit all for himself or herself. In which the children replied, she said, all at once, "Is it possible for one to be happy if everyone else is sad?" And then they said that there is a word in their language, Obanato, which means I exist because we exist. So, thank you for existing, Obanato. So, I suggest that you commit to one of those, not all at once, one for 2 weeks. And when it's established as a practice, then another for 2 weeks. So just have the awareness. If it's going to be radical honesty, if it's going to be non-judgment, if it's going to loving what is, if it's going to be the 7-day mental diet. So, oh, Chris, something that nobody heard before. Yay! It is a beautiful story, right? Oof. So who wants to commit to something? Who wants to put in the chat for the next 2 weeks the one that you are going to commit to? Is it going to be non-judgment? Is it going to be 7-day? What is it? 7-day, non-judgment, loving what is. Loving what is. I'm doing 7-day. I gotta make it through another 7 days. It'll take me another 38 years. No, cancel. Okay, 7-day. Okay, that's what I'm committing. 7-day mental diet. Okay, loving what is. And, it should become a habit within 2 weeks, and then you could move on to the next. But you might want to get an accountability buddy that you report to on a daily basis, okay? I would recommend that, because when you have an accountability, yeah, Ellie and Joyce, okay, I see you turning to each other. You have built-in accountability buddy. Anybody else who wants an accountability buddy, you can call someone, or you could even write in the chat, I need an accountability buddy. Okay, and as you go, out from this success circle, I want you to know yourself. So this is the next thing I want to talk about. I really want you to own that you are a leader. Some of you deny that you're a leader. Some of you are traditional leaders, like you're a department head, or you're a teacher, a professor, a team leader at work, a mom, a dad, coach, head of the homeowners association, or maybe you're a leader amongst your friends, among the soccer moms. Maybe you organized a meditation group. Maybe it's just that people tend to turn to you for your knowledge and guidance and your opinion on how they should approach a situation or what they should invest in. Okay, people are saying, I need a buddy. Okay, so if you see someone who needs somebody, say, I'll be your buddy, and then figure out a way that you are going to, maybe you could send a private message and give each other your contact information, okay? So, I remember when I was a little girl, I know I told you this before, when I was a little girl and a teacher asked us who we thought about as leaders, and the teacher thought that we'd probably say the principal of the school, and I remember shooting up my hand. I must have been in 2nd grade, but I remember it was like yesterday, and I said that I thought the leader was the crossing guard, because to me, he was bigger than life. He was the one who got us safely across the busy corner of Howard and East Prairie every day. And it was a big boulevard, and we couldn't cross it ourselves, but his name was Mac. And there was Mac, by the way. How many of you saw Mac McClung's slam dunk contest? Oh my goodness. If you did not watch Mac McClung in the slam dunk contest the other night, write this down. Mac McClung, MCCLUNG. Do you know what a slam dunk is? It's when a basketball player jumps up and dunks. The guy, I swear, yes, the Kia one, he he jumped up in the air over a car, over a Kia, and on his way over, he dunked. Can you even believe it? Anyway, you have to watch it. He's one of my son's closest friends. My son was his agent for many years, and I know him too. He's a doll. But anyway, but you have to watch it. It's like Superboy, tall buildings in a single bound. Anyway, so yes. You don't get a bigger leader in my world than Mac the Crossing Guard. So if you're ready to own your leadership and move more fully into it, I want you to accept that now. And I'm going to give you ways that you can accept your leadership. Because here's the thing. You look at each other, if you have yourself on gallery view, the world needs you guys. The world is in dire need of powerful and compassionate leadership. And who should take on leadership more than people who are so aware of all of these principles, how to make the world truly great? So, and it's never too late to really take on leadership. I don't know if Cousin Marcia is here, but I'll tell you the story of Cousin Marcia. And then if she's not here, she could go ahead and watch the replay. But I'm not going to tell you how old she is, but I will tell you that she held me when I came home from the hospital. So she's older than me. But anyway, just a little bit. But Cousin Marcia was, she's one of the most loving people on the planet. When I lived with her during COVID, I've known her forever, for 73 years, and she's always giving and she's always running and doing for people. But she never kind of accepted what a powerful leader she is. And then she learned the breath practice and organized our Sunday breath group. And now there's like 15, 20, 30, sometimes 40 people there. And she's the leader of the breath group. And then she became a yoga teacher. At the age of, she became a yoga teacher. Well, if you know I'm 73 and she's older, she had to already be in her 70s. She becomes a yoga teacher. And now she teaches yoga every Thursday and she teaches yoga every Sunday morning. And then she becomes a breath teacher. And then she becomes a Sky Schools teacher, which means she teaches the breath in schools. She goes up to Wisconsin, teaches. She goes to Indiana, teaches. And now she is a very respected teacher in the entire Art of Living organization. And that happened within a couple years. Yay for Cousin Marcia. But think about it. People, I'm too old to become a leader. No, you're not. She should be your inspiration. Okay, so what do you feel are she's over 30. What do you feel are some of the qualities of a leader? And then I'm going to share some of my favorite qualities of a leader. But write in the chat, what do you think are some of the qualities of a leader? Faith. Hey, Michael K. I'm going to see Michael also. Michael, you have to come up to the thing because Elaine and I are both speaking at it up in Fort Collins. I'll tell you about it later. Compassion, accepting, kind, has humility, good leader, vision, honesty. Yeah, those 4 qualities: honesty, integrity, steps up, good at communicating. Ooh, these are so good. Good listener, wants others to win, empathetic, and I would say 100% every single one of those. As a matter of fact, save this so that you could write down all those qualities of a leader. And some of them are the ones that I'm going to talk about. So the number one I'm going to talk about is, for all you leaders take 100% responsibility. If Mac the Crossing Guard didn't take 100% responsibility, would you feel safe having him be the one who crosses your kid at one of the busiest intersections in town? He was also, by the way, the custodian at East Prairie School. And to me, he was a leader in that too. He came to our rescue if our heat went out or a class frog got out of his cage. But imagine if every time we asked Mac to come in and save the day, he blamed someone else or the weather or the school administrator for trying his hands or, his kids being homesick. No, he just got the job done. The heat was broken. He came in, he fixed it. He didn't turn to us and say, well, sorry guys, you're going to have class with your winter coat because, the administration, the budget is down and I can't buy the part. No. And it's like that in business and life, because remember, you are a leader not only to your coworkers, your staff, your employees, or, the members of your church choir, but your children and your grandchildren are watching you and absorbing every move, because that's what they're going to be like when they grow up. They absorb who you are like a sponge and squeeze out that water when they're out in the world. And not just your biological children or grandchildren, all the kids who look up to you. If you blame others and don't take responsibility, guess what they're going to do when they grow up? Am I right? Who are they supposed to learn from? They learn from you. But if you stop blaming others and circumstances and focus instead on taking full responsibility, if you go from being a victim to making the commitment to no more blaming or excuse making, but instead being solution focused, if you stop acting, I don't understand why this is happening to me, and instead ask, what can I learn from this? And do it differently next time. That's what they're going to do. So if you don't do it for yourself, do it for those young people who are looking up to you. But because if they hear you forever making excuses, well, you know what their lives are going to look like. And the thing is, whoops, somebody is unmuted, but I will mute them. Another person, there we go. Okay. There we go. I don't know how people get unmuted, but the thing is, you get to choose how you respond to events that happen in your life. And taking 100% responsibilities means you don't blame the traffic when you're late, your partner for the fact that your relationship sucks, the weather for not being able to get out to exercise. You know what Nike says? Just do it. So I'm going to share with you this example of a leader taking 100% responsibility, and it's one of my favorite. I was reading this article in Vanity Fair, it was years ago, by Stephen Colbert, my idol, although I'm truly madly, deeply in love with his ex-band leader, John Baptiste. Did you hear John Baptiste sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl? Anybody? What are you guys doing with your life if you're not watching Matt McClung in the Super Bowl? Ella thinks I'm really funny. But Ellie enjoys watched it. Okay. So anyway, but if also Google John Baptiste, Star Spangled Banner, Super Bowl. Amazing. So anyway, Stephen Colbert was interviewing President Biden, and this was during his 2020 campaign, and they were talking about accepting being the loser if it should happen in that election. And Stephen Colbert said to him, "What do you think it will mean if you lose the election?" And Biden, without skipping a beat, said, "Well, it will mean that I was not as good a candidate." Boom. No excuse, no, well, maybe it will mean that the election was fixed or votes were lost or the people who ran my campaign didn't do their jobs. No, it will mean that I wasn't as good a candidate. That's the kind of leadership we need. 100% responsibility, not ever blaming anyone else but themselves. Something else you can do if you want to take 100% responsibility, when you notice you're about to blame someone else or pass the buck or make an excuse or even pretend that you have an answer when you don't have an answer, instead you can do something that the greatest leaders do. Do you know what it is? Instead of pretending you don't have an answer, I'll tell you what it is. See if anybody got it right. Say you don't know. There you go. That's what great leaders do. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that or how to do that. but I will ask for input from people who do. And I'll harness the brilliance of the minds of those with knowledge and expertise in that area, and I will come back to you with the answer. True leaders don't have to pretend that they know everything. It's not possible to know everything. That's why we have advisors. That's why we have friends. That's why we have professors. That's why we have books. That's why we have the internet. And when the solution is implemented, whether it works out or not, they take 100% responsibility for the outcome. True leaders don't say, well, I did what so-and-so said and it didn't turn out like a mess. I should never have listened to them. No. Unfortunately, many of us are reluctant to take full responsibility because if you're the one who's responsible, that means if it doesn't work out, you only have yourself to look at. And that idea is really scary for some people. They think that if an idea fails, it means that they are failures, but that's not true. The only thing that's true is that the idea didn't work. It doesn't make you a failure. Okay, moving on. My number 2 favorite quality of a leader is, and many of you wrote this down, is humility. True leaders just humbly go about their jobs and don't need to tell everyone how great they are because their actions speak so loud. Words are unnecessary. I don't know. That's a famous quote, but I don't know who it's from. It's so cringy when someone says, I'm so smart. In fact, if you need to tell anyone how smart you are or what a great genius you are, and that the only thing that gets accomplished is that it's a red flag that you don't really think so at all. Humility is putting your ego in check and knowing you don't know everything. Humility is being willing and open to learning. But you also don't want to lay on us that, oh, little old me kind of false humility. Don't do that, you guys. That comes from the fear of owning your own power. I would love for you to put in the chat right now if you are willing to let go of false humility and own your own greatness. You've made it 60 years pretending, oh, little old me, I'm the one that should. Stop it. Right, Cynthia? Stop it. You know that false humility thing? It's to protect yourself from having to be who you were put on earth to be. So stop pretending that you're anything less than great. It's so unattractive. The people you're meant to lead are waiting patiently for you to start leading. Their contract in this lifetime is to have their lives changed by you, but they're getting impatient. I love that, what humility, it's beautiful. They are not going to wait for you to stop acting like little old me, I'm the one that's supposed to change the world. Yeah, you were given certain skills, talents, ideas by the Creator because the Creator needs them to be used by you to create a better world. The false humility is you protecting yourself in case you might fail. So you go around masquerading as someone who isn't great to protect yourself from failure. But news alert, I've said this a million times in all my courses, there's no such thing as failure. There isn't. I mean, if I could tell you 1,000 things I've done that look like failure, but I don't consider any of them failures. I consider them lessons learned. I won't do it the same way next time. Failure in whose eyes? Do you really care so much about what other people think that you're willing to deprive the world of your gifts? Imagine what you would do if you didn't care about what other people think. Write something down right now. I want you to write something down. What would you do if you didn't care what other people thought? Do it now. Write it down. And you could write in the chat if you want. Cindy, girlfriend, if you write a good book, I will write an endorsement for it. Snooky, own my own gifts. Tracy, write music. Lisbeth, sing. Georgie, not wear a wig. Oh my God, how much do I love you? Okay. Ooh, a lot of singers there. Oh, Michael, I bet you have a gorgeous voice. I love you, Cynthia. Oh, wow. Okay, these are great. Beva's going to take dance lessons. Personally, so this is fantastic. You know, again, people are like, oh, I'm not going to do that because what'll people think of me? And the truth is, they're not thinking of you. You're not that important to them. They're thinking about what other people are thinking of them. So, personally, I don't want to hear from one more person, oh, me. The world is in not great shape and it needs what only you can bring it. The dancing, the singing, the business, the book, the group coaching program. Oh, Elaine, you're going to be amazing at that. Interplay. Come on, Mars, let's get going with it. Oh, Martha, start my business. Give yourself permission to be who you were put on earth to be. And guess what? You might not have a New York Times bestseller or end up on the cover of Time magazine. Boo freaking who? There are no guarantees in life, and the best-selling book isn't the point. The point is, if you want to be a true leader, it's about modeling what you do on your way to the best-selling book. Showing how leaders overcome obstacles and have the courage to move outside their comfort zone and accept challenges. We don't need leaders with false humility. We need leaders who know who you are. And anyway, you have to be bold. Do you want people to say about, you go girl, or oh, poor her? I don't want anybody saying poor her about me. So I am going to pause here and show you a film of someone who is brave and fearless and a leader, and she knows who she is. Some of you, this is your favorite film, has no compunction about taking on leadership when it's needed. She is one of my idols, and if you can see the fearless leadership qualities she embodies, then you can be like her, okay? So I am going to share this with you. Hold on one second. My own window. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so here's my question for you. Hold on. Let me do one thing. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. I knew it was here somewhere. So I'm going to share screen. I know those of you who have seen this right are going to be happy that I'm sharing it because it's everybody's favorite. And here, did I put share? Yep. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. That's it. Okay, those of you who, oh, where did you all go? I don't know where you all go. Can somebody unmute and tell me if they can see the screen right now? Just say yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
can see the screen.
Yes, we
Yes.
can. Yes.
Okay, here we go. My favorite leader. Can you hear it?
What you want? You know I got it. All I'm asking just a little bit. I ain't gonna do you wrong.
Oh,
Do you see that leadership? And by the way, the other thing I want to say about that leadership is that when she was invited to be on Ellen DeGeneres, she wouldn't go on unless her two friends could go on with her.
do we know what happened to that little girl? Where she is
Well,
now?
this was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but she was on Ellen, she was on Little Big Small Fry, whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm
Anyway,
curious who
so
she is
she
now.
is our girl. And I am going to close this. All right, there we go. So that's just a little bit of break. But you know what? Humility is not timidity. It's knowing who you are and who you're not. And humility also entails having a growth mindset, finding ways to continue to grow personally, professionally. It's essential to leadership. You're here in Success Circle because you don't think you know it all. And and leaders don't think they know it all. If they think that they know it all, then they're not a true leader. According to research done at Stanford University, technical skills and IQ contribute, listen to this, technical skills and IQ contribute between 4 and 10% of your success. Having high emotional intelligence increases your success to 85 to 90%. So the number one most sought after characteristic when looking for future leaders is emotional intelligence. If you don't know what emotional intelligence is, it's simply your capacity to be aware of, well, remember, its first step is awareness, to express your emotions, handle your relationships, have good social skills, self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, all the things that you put down on the list. Leaders who have high EQ, emotional intelligence, also look for ways to help others. I remember reading that at Zappos, Tony Hsieh, may he rest in peace, one of the things that made the company so successful, it was a culture where reaching out and lending a hand was part of the encouraged culture. And true leaders are vulnerable and transparent. I created a program with for Humanities team. Maybe some of you took it. It was called New Kind of Power. And I talk about a kind of leadership that is dying a slow death, and that is power over. There have always been people who believe that power over was a legitimate way to be a leader, but it has never worked and it will never work. And anyway, I could go on and on about that one. There was something else I was going to say about it. I can't remember what it was, so it's okay, it'll come back to me. But there is one thing that I will never stop saying, and if you don't, well, no, I'm going to say that later. Okay. There's nothing we can't create and no heights to which we can't soar. And when we have not power over, but we empower others, that is what a true leader does. Okay, the third quality of a leader is not being afraid to be a follower. I love this one because you know I have another video for it. Those of you who have been with me for a long time, I have friends in the transformational world that won't go to other people's transformational events or groups because they're afraid people will see them there and people will think that they're not perfect. True. I mean, think about that. They're like, oh no, I can't go because I'm a leader and people are going to see that I'm taking somebody else's course. True, true, true. And then we might have to do some one-on-one thing and they'll see that I have a weakness. It's okay not to be perfect and to be a follower when you're also a leader. As a matter of fact, being a follower can take more courage than being a leader. I'm going to repeat that. Being a follower can take more courage than being a leader, especially the first one to follow. So I have another film that I'm going to share with you, and it's about leadership, and I want you to take note of the courage that it took this guy to be a follower. Okay? So again, I don't know if I've ever shown this to you before. If I have, forgive me, but I'm going to show it to you again. So here we go. Hold on. There you are. And take note. Can you see that screen? Yeah? Here we go.
Yes.
Thank you.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is overglorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
Oh my God, that might be my favorite all-time video. Do you get it? Do you get that? It's like if you are the first follower, that makes you an important leader. So finally, number 4 is real leaders walk their talk. I don't have to go into a big explanation of this. Just know that it doesn't work anymore to say one thing and do another. People can smell inauthenticity a mile away. One of my favorite quotes from Marianne Williamson is, "When I practice what I preach, I have a really good life." When I practice what I preach, I have a really good life. So I'm going to read you one story about leadership, and then we're going to go into breakout groups, and then I have a few more things I'm going to say, and then we're going to have Master John Douglas. So story time, and I know that a lot of you have heard this, and I know a lot of you haven't. So this is a story about what real leadership looks like. This is a story about a man who was in his 40s, and he had become a teacher for his life's work. And one day at a wedding, he ran into his teacher, who 30 years ago had inspired him to become a teacher. So there was the young teacher and there was the older teacher at the wedding. He was so excited, and he said to the elder teacher, "I am so happy to see you after all of these years. I became a teacher because of you." And the elder teacher said that meant a lot to him. And the younger teacher says, "You remember me, don't you?" And the older teacher said, "Actually, I had so many students, I don't." And then the younger man said, "You have to remember me. I was the one who stole the watch." But he still didn't remember. And the younger man said, "The way you treated me after I stole the watch, how you still treated me with love and you never changed your attitude toward me, made me want to be like you." Still, the elder teacher didn't seem to remember. So the younger teacher said, "Remember, it was in fourth grade, and one of the wealthy students had gotten a new watch, and I was very poor, and he had it on his desk. And when he left his desk in a moment of weakness, I grabbed the watch and put it in my coat pocket. And when he came back to his desk and noticed it was gone, he went to you in tears, and you asked whoever took the watch to return it. I was too embarrassed to admit it was me. So you said, 'Well, I'm going to have everyone line up, and I'm going to have to check everyone's jacket pockets.' And I thought to myself, this is going to be the most shameful moment of my life, until you said, 'And I want everyone to have their eyes closed while I do this.' And you went to each person and you found the watch in my pocket. And you took it out. And when you were done, you gave it back to the owner and you said, 'Now everyone can open their eyes.' And you never said a word to me for the rest of the year. You treated me with just as much love and respect as you had before. And I thought over the years about this incident and how you saved my dignity. I thought this is what a real teacher is. And I wanted to be the same kind of teacher. But I'm sure you remember me now. And you think, oh, yes, that is him, the boy who stole the watch. But even now you don't want to embarrass me." And the elder teacher said, "Well, actually, I wouldn't remember you because I also closed my eyes." So real leaders close their eyes to the shortcomings of others. They forgive and they do everything they can to see others through the eyes of love. So now we're going to go into breakout groups, and what we're going to do is we are going to look at our notes, and we are going to share, each going to share for 2 minutes what quality you want to embody for the first 2 weeks that is going to put lots of sesame seeds in the side that is going to bring heaven on earth. Okay, is it going to be non-judgment, or is it going to be loving what is, whatever it is? And then what you're going to do is when you're done sharing that, you are going to share which of the 4 qualities of a leader, and you might want to write them down. It was 100% responsibility, humility, don't be afraid to follow, to be the first follower, and walking your talk. Okay, so everybody's clear? 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes for sharing which quality you want to exhibit, and then whether it's non-judgment or loving what is or 7-day or radical honesty, and then what quality of leadership. Okay, somebody has written it down. All right, so it's now 8:35. Let's see, if we have 3 people in a group, that'll be 6 minutes, 12 minutes. I'm going to give you 15 minutes. Don't take more than 2 minutes for your turn, okay? Here we go. And then we have some things to do, and then we're going to have Master John Douglas, and a good time will be had by all. So here we go. Plan next session. Oh, close all rooms. Close all rooms. And remember to accept your room, okay? We are going to recreate with 3 people in a room. Some of you might have 4, but please leave now if you are not going to be participating, like completely leave and come back in 15 minutes, all right? On our marks, get set, here we go. And don't forget to accept your room. Huh, did that work? Oh, open all rooms.
Riley asked DOJ for comment on that resignation. The Justice Department responded by saying this, quote, refuse.
Accept your room. Sandy, what's wrong?
I just had hand surgery today and I'm waiting for the intentioning for my son, Greg.
Okay,
So
all
I'm
right,
staying here and I'm just resting.
okay.
Thank you.
All right, so okay, darling, I get it. Let me see. Okay, well, that's okay. Recording. But thank you, darling, for asking. And I need Angela and Caroline and Cynthia and Dave, actually a bunch of people to mute. I don't know why I'm not able to mute you, so you have to mute yourself. All right. Anybody have a good room? Room 7 was the best. Oh, I'm sorry, 11 was the best. 8 was the best. We had the best. Oh, you guys just, and I won't say you kill me because you make me come alive. Okay, that's what we're going to say from now on. All right, so I have a lot more things to say and to share, and but what we're going to do is we're going to start with intentioning. I went from thinking we had nobody to we have a gazillion people. Well, not a gazillion, but about 10 people. But please make sure that you are muted. And now I just lost where all of them were. I wrote it on this thing. And hold on. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Oh, where are those intentions? Please, God, make them come back. Oh, here they are. All I had to say was please God, and God made them come back. Okay, so here we go. So the first person that we are going to be intentioning for is beautiful Angela Otto. So what we're going to do, there's a few things. We want to see Angela, and you could raise your hand, and I, if you want to, I can spotlight you. That would be, but you have to raise your electronic hand for me to spotlight you. But I know Angela's here. I don't see her. That's at the bottom where it says reactions. You have to click the hand raise because if you're waving wildly to me, it's hard for me to see. So I will not elevate you, but you're so elevated already, it doesn't even matter. There she is, but you have to put your video on. Okay, no video? No video? Okay, well, you know what? I'll put your picture on.
No, it's okay. Sorry, Deborah. I can't, my camera just stopped working. So,
All right, darling, that's okay, but
yeah.
I see you have a picture. So
Yeah.
I'm going to put your picture there, but you know what? They don't let you elevate unless you
okay.
have your
Don't
video
worry.
on. But we love you and we know what you look like. So the first thing is for her fabulous dental healing and oral health. Get that? Her book, Baby Steps and Giant Leaps, finds its way into the hands of those who would benefit from it. I'd like to say hundreds, if not thousands, of copies sold, but I will go with you. Finds its way into the hands of those who would benefit from it. It's a gorgeous book. Again, Baby Steps and Giant Leaps, Angela Otto. And finally, that the next project she's working on be completed impeccably with ease, grace, and speed. Okay, here we go. And we give thanks, and so it is. By the way, the rest of you, if you want to be elevated, you can raise your hand now. Tana, Susan Slaughter, Chutki, Barbara, Lisbeth, Sandra, Dorji. You could raise your hands now, so it won't take as long when it's your turn.
Thank you
Okay.
so much, Deborah. Thank you.
You are so welcome, my friend. Okay, next is Tana. I'm going to add spotlight. Hi. Hi, sweetie. Okay.
Hi, thank you so much in
Hi.
advance.
You're so welcome. So her intention is for her husband, Brad, and his new online stores, Wonderworks, and it's WNDERWORX. Wonderworks, is it Wonderworks and Heaven, or those are two stores?
They're two separate stores. Let's forget about Wonderworks. We're focusing on Heaven.
We're focusing on Heaven.
Yeah,
Wow,
forget
that's a
that one.
cool name for an online store.
Well, it was a popular physical store in the 80s, and now it's online.
Fabulous. Okay, so we are intending for Brad's incredible success, bringing joy and fun to people like his retail store did back in the 80s, and for Spirit to work through Tana to support him in the success, first of Heaven and then eventually Wonderworks, and for the fundraising also that they're doing for the LA fires right now. That's so beautiful. Okay, we got it. God's got it. Here we go. And we give thanks, and so it is.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Wow.
everyone.
I can't wait to go on. If you have like an actual link, put it in the chat.
I will. And you know what, Deborah? If you give me some kind of address, I will send you a Heaven shirt, an iconic Heaven shirt.
Okay, well, I'm going to be back in the States in March, so I will
I'll
definitely.
email you. I'll
I'm
email
so
you.
excited. Okay, thank
you.
you.
Thank
Woohoo.
you.
Okay, so our next person that we will be intentioning for is Susan. So I'm going to add Susan. Hey, Susan, darling. All
Thank you
right.
so much in advance.
Oh, you're welcome so much in advance. So we see our darling, beautiful Susan completely free and clear forever of all cancers, all underlying pathogens, all emotional blockages, and always see, look at her now, vibrant health. You look vibrantly healthy. Vibrant health, vibrant energy, vitality, and overflowing financial resources to live a fulfilling life, fulfilling her purpose. Here we go. And we give thanks, and so it is. Thank you, darling, for letting us do that for you. That was wonderful. Okay, so our next person is Chutki. Are you here? I don't see your hand up, but we know Chutki and we love him. So,
Hello, Deborah.
are you there?
I'm here, but my camera's not working. I dropped my laptop, so it's got a weird screen.
Oh, okay. Sorry that happened, but we know who you are and we love you. And here we go. Okay. So
Okay.
for the wonderful, darling Chutki, a miraculous financial breakthrough, just a complete turnaround in their finances so they could pay off everything, secure their home. That's what we want. We just see him living in overflow and abundance, financially free, and also he and his family members healthy, safe, sound, in a beautiful home, so that because what his desire is to serve his community and the entire world, anyone who needs help and light. So that's what we want: breakthrough in health, career, and most especially finances. Here we go.
Thank you.
And we give thanks, and so it is.
Thank you so much. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're such a dear person. We want everything good for you.
Likewise, ditto.
Next is our dear Barbara, who I see there. Hey, Barbara. So we are going to have an intention for Barbara's wonderful, glorious feet. She has some nerve damage on both soles, and it has hindered her walking. And so it's time that this flipped. And so we see her walking with ease, perfect health. She's going wherever she wants to go. She's even going on a hike, and absolute cure for whatever. We won't even call it nerve damage because it's going to be gone. So here we go. And we give thanks, and so it is.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Wow, thank you. All right, and then our next person is Lisbeth. Hi, sweetie. Okay, add spotlight. She is asking us for her wonderful Tom. If I was better at this, I would put up his picture, but he's handsome. He is so cute, so handsome. And we want, because she sent me a picture, we want him to find, he will find the perfect, ethical, skilled health practitioners within a 35-minute drive, okay? To get his oral health opportunities totally and completely resolved with safety, ease, speed, grace, and easily affordable. Wow. Okay. And for her, immense healing of her health opportunities also, so that she can be optimally supportive for Tom on his healing journey. And of course, let's just throw in all of the money to take care of it and lots left over, because that's what they deserve. Two gorgeous people with gorgeous hearts. So
Thank you in
here
advance.
we go. And we give thanks, and so it is. And please give him our love. Okay. And Sandra, I don't think Sandra has her hand up, but I know that she's here. And then we're going to end with
I am.
there.
And I have to tell you, I was gonna say, I can't find the hand, it won't work, but I'm doing radical honesty, so I don't know where it is.
You mean,
Let's see, I don't know why my picture's not here now. Oh, there it is.
oh, there you are.
Oh,
Yay.
yes, I'm here.
Okay. Oh, our love. We love you, Sandra, so much. And we are going to intention for her 53-year-old son. His name is Greg. And he was diagnosed with a not good tumor on the neck of his pancreas. So what we are going to do is we are going to send so much light and so much love and so much healing to that man, Greg, and specifically his pancreas, that the doctors are going to say, wow, I don't know what's happened here, but this is a miracle. And he's going to live a long, long, healthy life. So we're going to hold that for Greg. Here we go. And also bless the doctor's hands and the treatment, light and love around the treatment, whatever that treatment is, sparkly, healing, pink and golden light. And we give thanks, and so it is. Love you so much. Okay, so the last person. Oh, I see a hand up for Tracy. I didn't see an email. Did you send an email? I can't hear what you're saying.
So I can't have a hand up if I didn't have an email.
Well, no, this is for people. The rule is 2 hours before, but
Okay.
since you're so lovely and we love you, nobody else though, tell us what it is quickly. And
Oh.
we will.
I will just have clarity and angels be with me in any decision, and every decision that I need to make is made the best decision.
Well, I'm
Me
going to
and
stop
everyone.
you because we're going to do that for everybody.
Okay, good.
Which is so funny that that's what you're asking, right, Dorothy? And Sydney, darling, did you send one in? I think you did. I vaguely remember seeing it. Isn't that funny? Oh, sorry, that wasn't meant for you, Joan. That was meant for.
I did.
Yes,
send
sweetie,
one.
you did. I know. And what is it? It was for something.
I have launched my email. And I launched it in at the end of November. And I thought, oh, after the holidays, it'll be a great time to publicize it. And then there was the
Well, you know what? Before you go any further, just tell us exactly what you need to intention because we're already very late.
hey, I need to intention success for my email,
Okay, and what
for
is the
my website.
website? Tell me the website.
Sydney at sydneyshepherd.com.
There we go, the Sydney Shepherd website, and we will see you with incredible success, unbounded, unlimited success. Here we go. And we give thanks, and so it is. Thank you for raising your hand. I thought I saw something from you, but then it disappeared and now you reappeared. Thank you, darling. Mwah. Okay, so the last one is Dorji. And then I have a little bit of a surprise for you. And then whoever wants to stay, we will have our Master John Douglas. So there is our wonderful Dorji, and this includes you, Tracy, because what his intention is, it's for everyone in our family of light to have clarity about our own optimal path forward into our highest potential, and all of our projects work out for the highest good of all, attracting all the resources we need to be of service to the divine in whatever way we are needed. Here we go. We give thanks, and so it is. And thank you, Dorji, for being wonderful you. Who else would think of that but Dorji? You're the best.
And Sydney, put your website in the chat.
Yes, Sydney, put your website in the chat, and anybody else. Angela, put your book in the chat. Everybody who has links, please put them. Marcy says about Lisbeth's husband. He is handsome. Yes, everybody put their links in the chat. Your website, your stores, Tana, everybody. Angela, book, everybody. Oh, I love that. Cindy Shepherd, I think it's .com, but I like .om. That's even better, but I think it's .com. Anyway, lifecoachingmagic.com/books. Be sure to download the chat so you get it all. Well, this has been a marathon, and Chris Bryan, Financial Vehicles, he's the man, let me tell you, the best. So knowledgeable. Everybody. Actually, you know what? If you send those to me, if you send your link with what it is, I'll put it all in the replay email. Okay? Because that would be a really, it might have to go in an attachment so it'll actually go through with that many links. But if you want everybody to know what you do and your link, make the explanation kind of short. And we will we'll put it in the replay email. How exciting is that? Okay, so the last thing that I want to say is, well, actually two things. One is that, of course, I am not going to abandon you and not tell you how you can continue, but I am going to give you 3 things that you can take advantage of. Okay, so the first thing here, I don't know if you could see that. I think that you can. I am going to be starting an Awake Method class. Can you see that on your screen? Yes, okay, the Awake Method, as you know, it's very similar to Yes to Success, but it's a little bit more spiritually oriented. And I am going to, this time it's going to be even more a little bit spiritually oriented. The original price is, actually there is a web price, $397. The real price is $597, and repeater discount is $147. So if you've taken Yes to Success and you've never taken the Awake Method, you are considered a repeater. I know, but I never took the Awake Method. Well, you know, we're all family, so you get the repeater discount. I'll send this in the replay email. Awake Gold is what we are now going to be calling Success Circle. It says original price. It's actually starting on the 8th of April, but it's going to be every other week because so many people said it's just not fulfilling enough to have Success Circle just once a month. So we're going to be doing it every other week. Starting on April 8th, it's going to be $247. But if you've already done Success Circle, it will be $197. And the best thing is that I've actually bundled these two together. So if you want to take the Awake Method, which is usually $397, and do Gold Circle, which is Success Circle, which will be $247. If you take them both, it's only $297. So that is a whole lot of discount. But if it's too much for your brain to hold right now, especially after we just did intentioning, don't worry about it. I just wanted you to know that that is going to be in the in your replay email. So now the last thing that I want to tell you is something that you might find a little bit unusual. And that is, hold on, let me cancel this so I could see you all. Okay, a little bit unusual, not a lot unusual. And we still have, for those of you who want to hang on, I am going to play a Master John Douglas tape for all of you. But one of the things I was going to talk about at the end, but it's way too late, is just to remind you that everything is vibration. And what you want to just be sure that it's not only the vibrations that are good, but also if you're vibrating with negativity or, things that you don't want to happen, then those are the things that are going to be drawn into your life. However, it's really okay not to be okay. I just want you to know that. There are a lot of us who are not okay right now. And I don't want you all pretending that we are all okay. Because we're living in unprecedented times. And it's a misinterpretation of my teachings to say that we should pretend that everything is hunky-dory when it's not. However, if you are constantly putting your attention on the fear and the discomfort and, the world's going to hell in the handbasket, that is not good. But if you have a little fear and you need a little comfort, you're not a loser. Really? I go there. I have tools to turn it around, but I go there. So Byron Katie says, don't pretend yourself beyond your evolution. Maybe the enlightened masters aren't feeling any fear or trepidation but just don't dwell on it. Do something to change the circumstances instead of complaining. I was watching this video today, and it was a replay of last year. Every year there's a conference called Never Again Is Now, and it is a conference on anti-Semitism that's held in New York every February. And I was listening to this Palestinian Israeli. His name is Nusir Yassin. And he said, courage does not mean you are not scared or afraid. Courage means you are scared and afraid, but willing to do something anyway. So maybe a little bit of being scared and afraid, if it's going to spark your courage, then yay. But the thing that we really have to hold in our hearts is that ultimately, it's all going to be fine. That's what we have to hold in our hearts, and that's what we have to believe, and that's what we have to know. But it's okay not to be okay. And I talked about that in the last course that I taught, but since that time, I found this incredible song that I want to share with you, and then when it is over, I will go right in, we'll say goodbye to anybody who wants to leave, and anybody who wants to stay for Master John Douglas. I know it's kind of late for most of you, but those of you who want to stay for Master John Douglas, you are welcome. We're going to go really late today. So, but it's the last day. So after this is over, we're going to say goodbye, and then we'll do Master John Douglas. So I don't know how many of you have heard this wonderful song, but it is my new favorite. Can you see that? Give me a thumbs up. Can you see it? Okay. And it's from one of my favorite guys, probably one of my favorite guys too, Jelly Roll. Can you hear it?
I am not okay. I'm barely getting by. I'm losing track of days. I'm losing sleep at night. I am not okay. I'm hanging on the rails. So if I say I'm fine, just know I learned to hide it well. I know I can't be the only one who's holding on for dear life. But I know God knows when it's all said and done, I'm not okay, but it's all gonna be alright. It's not okay, but we're all gonna be alright. Woke up today, I almost stayed in bed. I had the devil on my back and voices in my head. Some days it all ain't bad, some days it all gets worse. Some days I swear I'm better off laying in that dirt. Well, I know I can't be the only one who's holding on for dear life. But God knows, I know when it's all said and done, I'm not okay, but it's all gonna be alright. It's not okay, but we're all gonna be alright. Gonna be alright. Gonna be alright. I know one day we'll see the other side. The pain will wash away in a holy water time, and we all gonna be alright. I know I can't be the only one who's holding on for dear life. But God knows, I know when it's all said and done, I'm not okay, but it's all gonna be alright. We're not okay, but it's all gonna up for Jelly Roll, everybody. Thank you, Jelly.
Get it? But it's all going to be all right. So I love you guys so much. And let's just stay together. Don't disappear on us, because we need each other, and we need to be here in community, and we need to be the light. And it's all going to be all right. And now we'll have some Master John Douglas, and I'll see you soon.
Unless you see something else. By and large, healthy. I mean, I have a little bit of maybe arthritic, gait stuff.
Somebody
You know, I
needs
like
to
hemorrhoids. I
mute
don't really, nothing
themselves.
but I do have this thing where I get fatigued too easily. Oh, people think I have endless energy.
Hold on.
But I'm sitting in here and I wanna
Somebody
hear every word you
needs
say,
to
but it's hard for me to
mute.
keep my eyes open.
And I
Even when
better
get
stop
muscle.
Master John Douglas till we figure out what it is. Hold on one sec. Okay, I think we're good.
But this,
Oh, I know why. I see what happened here. Can you hear? If you need it to be softer, make your own volume softer. And for those of you who don't know Master John Douglas, he's a great, famous healer. And he gave me permission to share his healings with you.
Your soul, the divine essence of you, is now being cleansed and energized with divine spiritual energy. It's being cleansed in all dimensions, in all of time. All blockages, particle malfunctions, and imbalanced foreign energies are being removed. Your soul is now being strengthened with the golden divine energy. The connection from your soul to your aura, body, and hologram is being repaired, retethered, and anchored with the golden divine energy. It's being strengthened to maximum levels. Your soul star chakra, entry point of soul energy and consciousness in the body, is being cleansed and repaired. It is being energized with the golden energy of divine. The golden soul energy from divine center, the higher beings, and your soul is now entering your aura and light fields. This soul energy is now penetrating all parts of your spiritual structures. Your chakra centers are being filled with this soul energy. Feel the downpouring of the evolutionary rays of your soul's energy. The energy ray of growth and evolution is filling you now. the energy ray of love and compassion is filling you now. The energy ray of prosperity and abundance is filling you now. The energy ray of health and strength is filling you now. The energy ray of knowing and awareness is filling you now. The energy ray of divine will and understanding is filling you now. The energy ray of discernment is filling you now. The frequencies of your soul's divine rays are penetrating all parts of you now. Your body, energy bodies, personality, character, emotions, thoughts, and cells are filled with soul awareness and are at the same frequency now. Now, the same processes are occurring in all timelines, in all realities, and all existences of your soul. Allow the rays of your soul's consciousness to fill your being with soul awareness in all its journeys, in all of time. Soul repair process is complete.
Okay. I think we did it. Love you all. See you soon, I hope.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you, love you.
We love you.
Love you, Deborah.
Deborah.
Thank you,
Love
thank you.
Bye. Bye, Deborah. Love you all.
Love you all.
Love you all.
Love everybody.
God bless you.
Have gone.
Good night.
We're going now.
We're really going.
We're really going now.
Yeah.
Here we go. On our marks.
1, 2,
2, 3.
and a half.
Go.
Good night already.